Hey guys, it's Joe from Lukas. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Boy, I'm in Washington in Woodinville. I got Garrett with me. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
We've been spending an incredible morning learning about Woodinville whiskeys and ryes and their finishes. This is incredible stuff. I want to walk you through. I want to give you a good tour. Then we're going to ask Garrett questions. Make sure you put us some comments on so we know what you guys want to learn about. But come on with me. Check this place out, though. Is this just absolutely, it's a gorgeous facility. It's so much fun. And it's not about the building, it's about the juice. So let's learn about it. So we were here this morning pretty early, and we were checking it out, and these big trucks come in to deliver the grain. The grain comes right in here, pretty amazing. And then it goes to the back. I want to show you guys this because I was like, man, that's really cool. I always, when I see something new, I want people to learn it, understand it, know it. So let's walk around. They got a nice little bar and restaurant next to them that a great small business family owns. I love that. So as we go through here, it's pretty cool, and we're going to go inside in a second. We're going to come in the back of the distillery. And this place is just beautiful and breathtaking. As you would expect, we're in the Pacific Northwest. Got my raincoat on. Hey, check this out. As they scale things up and production comes up, Garrett, tell us a little bit about these.
Absolutely, Joe. So this was in 2020, we ended up starting to make so much whiskey. We could no longer sustain getting daily deliveries of our grain. We had to introduce silos to this facility so we could store more grain on hand for our production. So if you look up here, we've got 3 different silos. This represents the ingredients that we use to make our bourbon. This is our corn silo. We have our rye silo, and we have our malted barley silo. These 3 silos all go into the contribution of our bourbon production. With 2 things that we make is bourbon and rye. We keep all this grain on hand. It comes directly from the Omlin family farm in eastern Washington.
I love that. I love that because it's local. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I love
Guys,
it.
it's so cool. And the rick houses are on the farm, right?
That's right. Complete, very tight circle of production.
So we want to hear this in the whiskey world, bourbon world, grain to glass. It's all here.
That's it.
It's all controlled, right? I think that's so incredible and so cool. I thought it was really cool. The trucks over there, filling these guys up. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
I love having people come out here. Anybody ever in the Northwest, you let us know when you're here. We'd love to show you around the facility. It is a fully functional operational capacity, but you know, it's just got a little character to it.
I will call Garrett. Anybody that's coming out here, I'm going to have you come and see him. Make sure, okay, he's a hell of a guy. All right, let's go in here.
Here we go.
This is pretty cool. Now, as we go in, it's going to be a little louder. So if you can't hear, just ask your questions and your comments. Garrett, can we go over here?
Yeah, please.
So now, and I'm going to let him explain it because it'll probably be a little bit better than me. But what does the Blue Monster do?
The Blue Monster mills our grain. So this is a really important integral part before we can get to a fermentation process, before we can get to the good stuff, the good juice, the whiskey. What we have here, those silos we just introduced you to, are going to directly be fed through a vacuum line into this big blue hopper. As it runs through this mill, we're going to have 3 different levels of grind. 2 rollers are here, 2 rollers are here, 2 rollers are here. This is a coarse grind, a medium grind, and a fine grind. They're going to contribute to making the flour we need to release all the special parts of our grain that are going to go into our mash tank directly behind us here.
So I think it's really cool because everything's fed when you look at it. I mean, this is amazing. I mean, and what I want to talk a little bit about this because when Mo and Hennessy made the purchase, or I don't know how it worked out, the financial things, we in the whiskey world are always like, whoa,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And you know what I found out? Completely independent. The 2 owners are still here. I was talking with Brett Nolan. Orland. I changed his name a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. and his partner is
Brett and Orland are the
Brett
partners.
and Orland. Oh, I thought your last name. That's why I said Nolan.
Yeah.
All right, now Nolan gonna be pissed at me because he's not even here.
It's fine. He'll get over it.
Orland. So it's Brett and Orland. I was meeting with Brett.
Yep.
I mean, this is so cool. I love to see it. Guys, it's a family operation. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
all these, and everybody's happy here, and I love that. They make happy whiskey. That's what I would say, okay? So let's go from here. We're gonna go from the mash tank. Check out these monsters. All right, it's probably getting a little loud, but yeah, we're up and down. And Joey's doing video, so if it doesn't come out right, you know where he's at. Anyways, so as they've ramped up production, okay, that's where you guys started, right?
That's correct. That's where we got going in this field.
And then here's the positive of having corporations helping, and we were talking about it, which is
That's right.
CapEx, and for those is some cash. And look at the size of these tanks. These are some of the bigger tanks I've seen. And I know that, we go into massive Jack Daniels and stuff like that.
Sure.
You're going to have massive. But this is incredible because Woodinville's ramping up, and going to pop on the map. I mean,
Absolutely.
the facility's amazing, and the quality control is amazing. Just take a quick look. There's several places you can buy stills. And I don't want to get into the technical part because I'm going to screw it up. But I learned a difference today, and I think it's pretty amazing. Those are actually German stills.
That's right.
And they have a different, in the column, they help dissipate the alcohol. But we're going to go to those. It's a little louder down there, so it might be hard, but it's the time that was spent to make sure they can make quality whiskey and why they pick their stills. It was an incredible conversation. All right, let's go here. So, Joey, just get a quick look. Don't drop my phone in there either. I just got it. Oh. So, talk a little bit about what's going on in there.
Absolutely. So we're staring. These bubbles are representing the off-gassing of CO2. That is the physical representation for alcoholic fermentation. That mash tank that we just walked away from brings that entire mash in here where we add the yeast. This is controlled to be around mid to high 80s in Fahrenheit in its temperature. Ferments here for 4 days, coming to a total alcohol, usually around 10%, before we transition this to become our distillate that we're going to transition into our pot and column still.
So one thing that's really cool is check this jacket out. I hope you can see it on video. But so tell me a little bit about the jacket. So
Yeah. So maintaining this temperature that I was talking about for our controlled fermentation that controls a lot of the flavors that we're going to get for our distillate, it's important if that temperature elevates above that high 80s temperature that is ideal for us, that we bring that back down. So these glycol jackets have a coolant that run on the outside, and when it's time for them to turn on, this will get icy cold. It looks like a cold beer on a hot day. You'll get a lot of condensation on the outside.
Okay.
That's going to bring that temperature back down to the range that we're trying to keep it at for the controlled flavor that we want out of our ferment.
I've seen coils inside. I've seen so many different ones. And one of the other things, let's go down this way. Is this one, which was the one that was there? There's one that has a little less, so
The
they
one
could.
the one that was being filled was down here towards the end here. This is today's match.
All right, you gotta talk this way, Garrett.
Taking a quick peek in here to make sure it's where it was when we were walking through the first time.
And
So
we can
this is
explain the agitator to them.
absolutely. So these larger fermenters, at the 9,000 gallon fermenters, it's such a large volume that we need to have these paddles and these agitators that you see inside. Those are going to turn at a very slow temperature to make sure we have a current and there's a full transition and rotation, so the yeast is feeding evenly amongst the mash bill that we have built into our fermenters.
I think that's amazing. I want to, guys, Joey, look straight down. Look how far that goes down. And these have how many gallons are in here?
This is 9,000 gallons, and ultimately it'll represent about 30 barrels of whiskey, about 30, 53 gallon barrels of whiskey.
That's amazing. All right, let's go this way. And I want to. So this is the production facility that we're in, which is amazing. It really is. It's so well done. This is what the rick houses look like. And as Woodinville has been expanding because of the liquid, let's take a look at the farm. And is it spelled just like almond?
So it's Omlin,
Omlin.
O-M-L-I-N. Sounds
Okay.
like almond if I'm saying it after a couple glasses of whiskey, but it's Omlin, O-M-M-L-I-N.
So take a look at this photo, but what's really interesting about it, this is one of the original ones. So that picture that I showed you first, the rick house, that's these down here. These are the original ones. And now they're in this land back here, they built more rick houses that are going to hold 11,500 barrels.
That's correct. Each one of them are going to have 11,500 barrel capacity.
And they really, the whiskey's coming out in the 5-year range. So they're not rushing anything. They're doing it the right way with the right barrels. And I think it's something we really need to understand and learn. And it's amazing. All right, let's go down this way. Oh, this is nice. Look at Chris. Chris is just sitting here doing no work at all. That's okay.
I know how to go straight to the finish line here.
So, guys, we came down and I think we just want to talk a little bit about this. Excuse me. Let's talk about the rye first because it's unique. There's not very many 100% rye on the market. And I'm going to lack my knowledge of distilling, but most people that make a rye have a 4 or 5% barley in it to help the enzymes go, right?
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely.
So they chose to go a different way. And talk a little bit about who influenced Woodinville, because I think this is pretty killer. And you guys are all going to know the name. And if you don't know the name, we'll share a little bit about who helped.
Absolutely.
Who helped?
So one of our mentors getting started within this company was Dave Pickerel. One of his first endeavors outside of his departure from Maker's Mark was coming on board here to be a mentor for this company and our growth. As Joe was mentioning earlier, it's not common to see 100% rye mash bill for a lot of reasons. It's difficult to clean. This is difficult to ferment, and there's certain things you need to do to even let it ferment in the first place. The only thing we can ferment out of a rye grain is the starch. So we have to add special enzymes to expand those starch particles to let it be something that these yeast can eat. 100%, again, not unprecedented, but Whistlepig, ourselves, both two Dave Pickerel influences, are some of the few that I know that are producing that rye whiskey on the market.
Well, I need to get this. This was my glass. This is my first one. Well, maybe not. Go ahead, Joe. You can have one too. You want to join us?
Please. Yeah.
Okay. So what was really cool is when you look at all the grains, and we'll talk about the actual bourbon is corn, rye, and barley. Your corn is 72,
That's correct.
18, and
72, 22, and 6.
7. So this is strictly for the help of it. So you don't add those enzymes in this.
That's right.
That's
right.
pretty. So remember, this doesn't add the flavor. So we got to remember, barley is to help the bourbon become bourbon. So it's technically, we'll call it a high rye, technically. And then we were able to feel the grains. And I think that's why if you can get out here and come and meet with them, you can come here and you get to feel the texture of these, of how they're actually, that grinding that we talked about on the big blue giant up there. And we were able to learn those. I mean, it's this incredible. And then it's a number 4 char. So now this one is kind of worn down because everybody comes here and they touch this like I am doing. So this alligator-ish look should be on the whole barrel.
That's right.
But that's okay. Oh, you know what we got to talk about? Check this out, guys. I love this. I want to be in the picture too.
People don't care about that.
Hey,
People want to see what's going
So
on.
if you look at this line, and we should talk about this because everything's being aged in Western Washington, where the climate is much drier, so they have a fair amount of angel share. And I'm going to show you. We got a glass barrel, so similar to where was I just? It has it. Anyways, I'm getting old. Orange to whiskey. But someone else had one of that, and I want to show it to you again so you can understand what angel share actually means. But if you can look at the color, I hope the color comes through
It does.
on the video. So what you're going to see is this whitening is that whiskey is going in there, and those flavors are getting pulled out of the wood, and you can see the actual color of the barrel right here. And this is a whiskey line. So tell me how you guys get the pull, because this is important. This is important, how you get the pull.
There's two things that I'm really passionate about this transition. Part it's the climate, part it's the relationship. So this same 4th generation family farm that we get our staple grains from is the same farm as Joe was just mentioning, where our barrels are aged. The value to that is that in Eastern Washington, we have a bigger seasonal temperature fluctuation. It's a less temperate environment. So there's about 125 degree Fahrenheit fluctuation between the highs in the summers and the lows in the winter. That pretty much treats our barrels like a manual pump. In the summertime, they expand and they push the whiskey into the wood. In the wintertime, they contract and push the whiskey out of the wood. So seeing 5 years of aging in multiple seasons has this pump-like transition that gives us the whiskey line Joe was highlighting for you in this stave.
I think that's really killer, and that's one of the big parts. So everything is produced here, trucked out, and barreled at the farm.
That's right.
Okay, let's walk down. Look at this place. This is killer. Check this out. This is amazing. Chris, you want to walk? You have enough liquid? Is that okay?
Might need a refill, but
Okay.
We've got plenty here.
Okay. So this is really, and I tell you what, one of the things that's really important, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I think that's important. You got to run a good company, so it's pretty awesome. That handsome man right there is the mastermind. Okay. Pretty amazing.
It's true, Mike Stein, he's the man.
Mike Stein. So as we come through this way, now we're going to talk about the stills, right?
Absolutely.
And I think what's interesting, and you guys heard at why am I drawing a blank? The Maryland ride. Sagamore. Thank you.
Yep.
So Sagamore, when you guys saw that video, what you saw a 40-foot column still and 2 doublers. These are actually truly one still, but because they're height restricted, they're sitting next to each other. And these are amazing German stills, and those are jackets on them that have steam. So talk a little bit about how this is being distilled.
Absolutely, Joe. That's a great introduction. These are Cote machines that are from Germany. That is 100% copper pot still. That steam jacket is our heat source for creating this distillation. After things are coming, we distill off the grain. So that entire mash that ferments on the grain comes over into this pot still, where we add the heat and vaporize it to condense as it transfers over to the column. It goes from about 10% alcohol to about 25% alcohol. This column still does some pretty magical work. Between each one of the windows you see in this column still, there is a plate that separates and decides whether the whiskey is worthy of going higher or not. As it increases in alcohol percentage, it increases in the ability to get past the plate that's above it. So by the end of this distillation process towards the very top, this is going from the 10% distillate in our fermenter to 140 proof. This is 70% by the time that it's finished. And what we see coming off of the parrot right here is our White Dog whiskey.
Now, what did you call that?
This is a parrot. This is a parrot.
Is it like a spirit safe?
Similar.
Similar, yeah. I've never seen it self-measure, not that it's self-measuring. I understand that.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. Did you see the alcohol coming off there? That is moonshine, right?
That's correct. That's
That is-
correct.
That's
And-
awesome.
And Joey, capture this. This is our super high-tech reader to make sure everybody's on the same page for our volume and the taped on still. So
I love that because that's my speed. Okay, so I'm going to try and get some research and show you guys a plate because that's why they use this type of still. And when Brett was explaining it to me, they have little ridges on it. I'm only regurgitating what I heard.
Yeah.
And that's the reason they went this way. I'm assuming it's a little domed and it's ridges opposed to the flat ones that we see in the stills out of Kentucky. So just a touch different, but it's really about learning so we understand what we're drinking, how we're drinking it, learn the mash, learn the process at which they make it. Super killer. All right, let's go this way.
Here we go.
So I just want to point one thing out. So you see they have 3 stills, but they have an extra column over there. And I think it's important to understand because a lot of people that get in the business have to find ways to earn money so they can barrel, right? Because it's going to take a lot of time to get it to it. So they used to make vodka. So the reason I say it that way is Woodinville is concentrated on bourbon and rye, and I think that's super important. They don't make vodka anymore. We're going to taste it. It's supposed to be a whiskey drinker's vodka. I haven't had it yet, but before I leave, I want to have a sip.
It's happening.
But I think the love and the passion for bourbon and for rye comes through because they're saying, all right, let's just focus on our core of what we know. and that means we're going to make it today, and we'll talk about it in 5 years. I want to bring you right out here. Okay, I will stop yelling at you guys now. So this is so cool. Oh, hey, check this out. This is awesome. I didn't need to get a picture of that, Joey. So when we finish, get one of those so we can put it out there for everybody. That's the whole process, and right here to 5 years. So this is a super commitment. And if you look back over here, this is where we started our day, was right here, which is pretty cool. We started right here, and we started out with the bourbon, cleansed our palate a little bit. We were able to taste some finishes. One of the things I wanted to show you, that they're the second distillery that I've been in that has this. So kind of, if I know the sun might be hurting us, but if you try and get it upper angle so you can see the char. I don't know if you guys can see the char. Oh yeah, it's coming across. That's what a charred barrel should look like. So this is pretty cool. Look at the angel share. This is 16. This is about 5.5 years old.
That's right.
Right, roughly. And you can see how much they lose in that climate. That's what gives the flavor, right? We love angel share. This is an amazing place. Pretty cool. I mean, thank you so much.
Joe, thanks for making the trip.
Thanks
for making the trip.
This is a special day. Every time we come to these places that have that love and passion for it, I want to make sure I bring it back to you guys. This is great product. Thank you. We also picked a barrel. It's pretty amazing. It's coming, and then we'll have a rye later on. They're both spectacular, both at cask strength. For those of you that had the one we had 2 years ago, we finally got another one, and that's coming soon. Just amazing. I can just say, you know what? I truly appreciate hospitality. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.